Jazz and beyond.
Where the standards are always hot.
And the mood's just right.
On 702
and CapeTalk.
Good times are coming at the Standard Bank Day of Jazz this year with José James. He's going to be performing there and 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he's going to be performing. My goodness. Well, I had a moment to chat with him about what he's going to be coming up and doing as he's coming back to the Joy of Jazz for the second time. And he's coming with a tribute to the beautiful album that he did, really of Miss Badu herself. And the album is called On and On. Let's hear the music before we hear the conversation. José James, welcome to Jazz and Beyond on 702 and CapeTalk. We are very excited you're coming to South Africa again and also to be chatting to us here. And you're coming as Miss Badu, but the José James version of Miss Badu. You are said to be the jazz singer of the hip-hop era. Do you like that phrase, by the way?
I love that phrase. You know, I think that encapsulates everything that I want to do and where I'm coming from. You know, my generation sees jazz a little bit differently. People like Robert Glasper and Chief Adjua, you know, we grew up with hip hop, but hearing the samples of jazz. So, you know, our journey to jazz was a little bit different, you know. And I think it's a fresh take on the history, because I've never looked at jazz as something that belongs in a museum in the past. It's always something current and vital that belongs right here in the present, leading us to the future. So, you know, Erykah Badu was the right muse, the right choice for this tribute, because not only is she the most important artist, in my opinion, of my generation musically, but she's always found a way to combine jazz, hip hop, R&B, and the future with an incredible vision for, you know, Black people, for all people around the world, leading us into the future to open our minds and open our hearts in a new way. So it's going to be fun. I've been wanting to come back ever since. It was like my musicians and I still talk about it, you know, how wonderful the audience was and how musical. You know, it's incredible to perform music when it's being received and you can feel it. It's being received. That's the real gift for us. And, you know, Erykah Badu is one of the most, if not the most important artist of my generation. She just actually announced today that she's putting out a new album on her own label. So that's very exciting. She's always charging ahead and leading the way. And the band that I'm bringing over is really, I consider them to be the best on the scene today for what we do. Ben Williams on bass, Jairus Yokley on drums, on keys and synths, and Evan Dorsey on alto saxophone, and Tali on vocals. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the album is also the On and On album. You also, you know, use the Herbie Hancock kind of concept of featuring guests on it. And even though you're the lead vocalist, and I'm noticing that you love to introduce the younger musicians to be part of the projects that you do. Is that because other musicians, other luminaries gave you an opportunity the same way?
That's exactly right. You know, that's really the jazz tradition. That's the music tradition. But particularly the jazz tradition, you know, people like Art Blakey, the great drummer, and band leader, you know, Betty Carter, who's a personal hero of mine, the great jazz singer, and Miles Davis, of course, most famously. You know, that's the way that jazz moves forward. That's the way that the next generation has a chance to learn, to evolve on the bandstand, the alto sax player who's coming with me, I met her when she was 17 years old. And the reason I found her was because Kamasi Washington invited her and her brother to sit in with him. And then someone posted a video and I saw the video, and then she sat in with me, and now she's part of my band. She's 20 years old. And those kind of experiences, they're not taught in school. I do still believe that jazz is ultimately learned on the bandstand. We learn by doing. Not to say you can't learn things in school, but to do a thing, you need to do the thing. So yeah, it's my way of giving back the way that, Chico Hamilton and Junior Mance and the great McCoy Tyner gave to me.
But I also like that you really, give thanks and gratitude to a lot of the musicians that have inspired you. For instance, not only Erykah Badu, you also have, an album dedicated to Billie Holiday, which was absolutely amazing, especially with your baritone voice. We're just hearing Billie in a Jose kind of way.
Oh, thank you.
And how important is that? Because and a lot of young musicians are more focused on, I want to create my own music. I want people to like, and forget that, what they're creating comes from somewhere. It just didn't, drop from the sky. There's an influence there.
That's right. Well, Billie Holiday is my musical mother. I wouldn't be here without her. To me, she's the ultimate jazz singer who took what Louis Armstrong created and took it to another level of interpretation and sophistication. And, it's important for me to share, exactly as you said, my influences, where I come from, to pay respects to the people who paved the way for me, not only musically, in the case of Billie Holiday, politically, socially, she stood up for civil rights, before the civil rights movement. She paved the way for women's rights. She did so much for Black people in America and continues to through her music and example. So for me, it's really about going back to the roots, going back to the soil, reconnecting with my influences, whether that's Billie Holiday or Bill Withers or Erykah Badu. These are the forces that have sustained me through the years. And, there's a lot of new generations who may not know about some of these artists,
Sure.
Believe it or not. I've been out on the road and met people of all different generations who had never heard of Erykah Badu, which of course surprised me. But yeah, it's exactly, it's a big world out there, so
yeah,
that being a jazz singer too, interpreting other people's music and saying, hey, this person's important, you should check out this song, maybe it could change your life.
If you're an Erykah Badu fan, you're gonna enjoy this performance coming up with José James. And of course, this is one of the songs that are from the album. It features On and On, Didn't You Know, Green Eyes, The Healer, Gone Baby Don't Be Long, Out of My Mind, Bag Lady. And of course, he's just investigating the breadth of Badu's iconic catalog. And there's no way you could have many of that. The conversation continues after this short break. You are listening to Jazz and Beyond on 702 and CapeTalk.
Jazz and Beyond.
With Nothemba Madumo
It's where the standards are cool and the conversation is always hot.
on 702.
Jazz and Beyond with me, Nothemba. We do this every Sunday between 6 and 9 o'clock in the evening. This is where you come for the jazz and you stay for the good time. I see your message here, Jeffrey Guanyi, who's out in Tutsamani, and Alex says, yo, man, me and my wife are always enjoying your jazz music. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you. And he says, keep it up. I'm in conversation with José James, and he is a New York-based vocalist. He combines jazz music and soul and drum and beat. and the spoken word as well. He's got his own unique brand of vocal jazz, and had a conversation with him earlier in the week about him coming to the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz this year, performing on 3 performances. And this is how our conversation wrapped up. You know, I've watched you perform a couple of times, and that was on the Blue Note at Sea. It's a pity that cruise is no longer available.
I know. Rest in peace. Blue Note at Sea.
And at the time, you were doing the Billy songs, you know, and as you're talking about, you know, the people who have influenced you and the kind of music that you know, and you like their perspective of life and their politics as well. You travel a lot, Jose, and I read that you do a lot of composition on the road, and I'm just wondering, as you travel the various countries, do you get to be influenced by the culture and just be spiritually, you know, inspired? Why then your sounds are so varied, you know, because it's not just jazz. You got your indie rock, your folk music, blues, hip hop, soul, R&B, name it, it is in there, kind of thing. For you to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, I think, for all of us to travel, to see other cultures, just as human beings, you know, let alone artists. I've been very lucky to live in other countries. I've lived in, of course, America, but also in the United Kingdom, in London. Lived in Amsterdam with my wife for 2 years. And, you know, within the United States, I've lived, you know, in Seattle, in Minnesota, in New York, and in California, in Los Angeles and Altadena. And every single place has its own relationship to art, culture, food, fashion, you know, the way people make an album in Los Angeles versus New York. It's a very different thing. You know, in New York, you're walking off the street straight into the studio. You know, you got the hustle and bustle of New York City, the sounds, you know, it's loud, energy, and then you go right into the studio, and then you go home, you know, after the session. In LA, people drive, you know, so you're driving to somebody's house or you're driving to a studio. It's very chill. It's very relaxed. The door's open, you know, the sun's there. So it's kind of a smoother pace. But yeah, traveling around the world has really shown me that music is the universal language. I was just in South Korea, in Tokyo, in Seoul, and people respond to the beat, they respond to the rhythm, they respond to the melody. Some things are universal, and that both of those things fascinate me, the differences and also the similarities. So I look for both. You know, I look for example, why everywhere around the world, when Lovely Day comes on, when people hear boom, 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 people jump up all over the world, all ages. No, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And that to me is so fascinating, you know.
And do you, when you say you go out and look for, do you actually go out and say, okay, I'm in, I don't know, Vietnam or something. I'm going to go, after my performance or on an off day, I'm going to go out and go into the community and just, swallow, eat, and just soak up the culture, the music, the sounds, the styles, the fashion, the food, kind of thing. Do you get to do that sometimes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I try to go to as many museums as possible, bookstores, if I can, concerts. If it's a festival, that's great because I get to see a lot of like local bands alongside international bands too. So that's cool. I try to make it a point to go early, and check out, just the vibe, like walking through a city. It's one of my favorite things to do. My wife and I love to do that, just to feel, what it's like to live in that. Because now in my mind, I'm not visiting a place. I'm living there for that short amount of time, even if it's for a day or 2 days. But I've changed my mind I'm not visiting anymore. I'm living there. And that's really made it easier to tour, honestly, because if you're just saying I'm traveling, then you're always missing home. And now it's like, okay, I live here in New York, but I'm temporarily living in all these places, so that kind of unlocks something for me, where it's like, yeah, I can go anywhere I want to. And, we're going to spend 2 weeks in Brazil from next week. And we're going to do exactly as you said, eat in all the restaurants and meet all the musicians and probably do some sessions and, go to some parties and just, it's not just about us coming to give our culture. It's about receiving as well.
Yeah. So what's up with this Revenge of the Dragon 1978? What's happening? I wanna rock with you. Michael's got you, right? You and Takuya.
Right. We're finally connecting with Takuya Kuroda after 10 years, which is a blessing. He sounds amazing. He's still one of the best. And, it's, I saw Michael when I was 10. I saw Michael, the Bad Tour, and it changed my life. And 1978 in general is sort of my investigation into the music that was happening, the culture that was happening when I arrived on this planet. I was born in 78. And I'm fascinated by that era because it was a ending and a beginning. So many great movements like the disco movement coming to a peak, and about to transform, or we're transforming into the nightclub culture we have today, the EDM, the electronic, the hip hop. Prince's first album came out in 1978. It's like a fascinating moment. Bob Marley and the Wailers came to global prominence, Kaya, 1978. So it's tapping into that. And the Revenge of the Dragon is my love for late 70s Hong Kong Kung Fu films. Of course, kick down the door was Bruce Lee. He brought the culture. And I practice Shaolin Kung Fu myself. So it's a way to give back to the master, the great person.
Look, even the cover of the album, just the way you're dressed, I already see the 70s, that cool, the jean and the car and everything. So, and I hope you get to perform one or two from that album while you're here. And just
for sure.
Just going back to Erykah, what did Erykah say about you doing her music?
Miss Badu? Mm-hmm. She's cool. She loved it. She hit me up on Instagram. She's so tapped in right now. She always has been. Yeah. She's always tapped into everything, the jazz scene, the R&B scene, the hip hop scene. She's so aware of, I think, who she is and her influence. Yeah. So yeah, it's been nothing but love. We haven't met in person yet, so hopefully,
wow,
that one. Yeah, I'm excited to meet her.
No, well, let's hope it happens very soon. We're looking forward to seeing you here again at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Are you having one performance or two performances?
It's actually three performances.
Three performances.
Yeah. They added another one. I'm playing every day, so
wow,
you can't miss me. Can't miss me.
No, that's amazing. Look, Jose, thank you very much, and we can't wait to see you perform.
Blessings. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.